Good afternoon. We are gathered on the traditional territory of Treaty 6, and I acknowledge the Métis people who have shared a deep connection to these lands. My name is Chantal Saramaga-McKenzie, and I'm your Alberta NDP candidate for Spruce Grove and Stony Plain. I'm joined here today by Karen Shaw, our amazing candidate for Morinville-St. Albert, and Bill Tonita, an incredible advocate and candidate for Strathcona-Sherwood Park. We have come together today to speak about the Alberta NDP commitments for public safety and building a better future, a safer future for communities across the province. The UCP have cut police funding and social supports that have helped Alberta's communities tackle social disorder. As a former City of Spruce Grove councillor, I have an intimate understanding of how the city funds its frontline services. From public parks to policing, every dollar is carefully allocated to make sure that each member of our community can live a safe and dignified life. That becomes harder to do when the UCP has spent the last 4 years cutting back on municipal grants and decreasing funds for social services and policing. Because of these cuts, municipal councils were forced to choose between cutting services or increasing taxes, meaning each and every one of our constituents would have to pay more without any extra benefit. Spruce Grove is a vibrant city, and I am grateful for the community that we have built through all the different organizations and many that I have volunteered with. And it hurts me to see our community is struggling to do more with less. As a small business owner, I hear from residents and other entrepreneurs every day. They are worried about the increases in crime and the impact that it is having on our communities. Without support from provincial government, there is very little that we can do to change the root causes of crime and social disorder. We cannot simply stand by and wait for the UCP to keep their promises. We need action. This is one of the main reasons that I chose to run for the Alberta NDP. I'm proud of the work that we've done so far to consult with communities like Spruce Grove and Stony Plain. The Alberta's NDP plan reflects Albertans' priorities because they have helped build it. I'm now going to pass the mic over to Bill Tonita to share more about our commitments for a safer, better future for all Albertans.
Thank you, Chantal. Just like you, I've spent the last 4 years as a county councillor trying to stretch thin budgets further than necessary, while the UCP has spent the last 4 years ignoring our pleas for help. It's difficult to understand why, but it really boils down to this. Instead of listening to Albertans, they've chosen to pursue expensive projects that each and every one of us will have to pay for. You've heard about the UCP's plan for a provincial police force, and undoubtedly, you've heard cities, towns, and hamlets across this province unequivocally reject that plan because it won't improve public safety. It will undoubtedly increase costs for you and for your families. It will make life more expensive for all Albertans. 2 years ago, Red Deer considered what the impact of a provincial police force would be on its community, and they rejected the proposal because it would cost taxpayers an additional $13.5 million each year. That doesn't even include the costs of transition and lost federal support, which have been pegged as high as $1.36 billion. In fact, we calculate the costs for each of our communities, and it's astonishing. For a family of 4 living in Spruce Grove or Stony Plain, an Alberta police force would cost them an extra $2,800 a year. In St. Albert, that same family would pay $3,600 a year. And in my constituency of Strathcona County, a family would pay an extra $4,000 a year. This at a time when the cost of everything from food to utilities is skyrocketing. The UCP wants to download even more costs on Alberta families. I don't know many families who have an extra $4,000 a year to spare. Instead of representing the people they're meant to serve, the UCP is set on ignoring us, on pushing an agenda that's built on chaos and Danielle Smith's obsession with sovereignty. She doesn't really care how much it's going to cost you. Last September, members of our council joined me and fully endorsed the RCMP In fact, our council wrote a letter to Justice Minister Tyler Shandro, in which it clearly outlined our support for the RCMP. In fact, council urged him not to proceed with the UCP's expensive plan to set up a provincial police force, because the people of Strathcona County aren't interested. They fully support the RCMP in this community. And soon after that, 70 municipalities across Alberta made their wishes clear in an open letter to the Justice Minister, saying, we don't want it. Rural municipalities called the UCP's plan a boondoggle. Business leaders said it would only harm them, not help them. In fact, last year, a majority of Albertans said they were against this plan, and still, the UCP moves forward. Danielle Smith and the UCP are too risky, and they keep choosing chaos for our communities. They have their priorities all wrong. But we don't. Your priorities are our priorities. The Alberta NDP is committed to building a better future for you. And now I'm going to pass the mic over to Karen to share more about that. Karen?
Thank you, Bill and Chantal. Keeping the RCMP is only one aspect of our plan to stop social disorder and reduce rural crime. We know that this is a very complex issue that requires a comprehensive approach, one that does not include rebranding the letterhead and repainting police cars. We will first reverse UCP cuts to police funding and restore the $32 million in municipal funding. We will hire 150 additional police officers across the province. This will include 50 additional police outside of the major cities. We will not only keep the RCMP, but we will also invest in specialized rural crime reduction units to target and shutter organized crime within the rural communities. The Alberta NDP is focused on real problems, and we are committed to real solutions. Our vision for a better future is built on trust and competence. We will establish a long-term agreement with municipalities to support stability in their police budgets and to make sure that we are doing our part to address the root cause of crime and social disorder. That includes investing in policing, but it also includes investing in the resources that people need in order to stay healthy. That's why we will also hire 150 community and social service workers to serve on teams that are built around the unique needs of each community. We will reinvest in direct resources to enhance existing services like 911, 211, co-location, and culturally appropriate and trauma-informed outreach staff. We will also support civilian oversight and community liaisons to ensure we are making progress on our initiatives. We will remain honest and transparent with Albertans, working hand in hand to adapt and improve our approach when needed. Our plan for public safety isn't just about getting people off the streets. We are proposing a practical and effective solutions that will address challenges many face today. This is why we stand with our RCMP investing in policing and investing in social supports that have a proven track record to address the issues that we are facing today. Thank you, and now we are happy to take your questions.
Perfect.
How big an issue is rural crime in your communities, and have your constituents maybe noted this is a big election issue for them?
You know, I think the biggest issue that's facing people is this whole idea of changing out the RCMP. People here trust the RCMP. They've seen in all of our communities the good work the RCMP has done, and over again, they have supported the work of the RCMP. Rural crime, it's always on people's minds. When people live a long ways from the detachment, 20, 30 kilometers out into the country or further, yeah, they worry about it. And adding 50 additional police officers in to this into rural Alberta is going to make a difference for those people. We're focused on building a better future. The Alberta RCMP have been an important part of that fabric for over 100 years, and we want to ensure that it continues.
They haven't said a lot, UCP hasn't said a lot about the provincial police force in this, so far, much this election campaign. Is that a sign that maybe it's gone away, or what's your thoughts on, is it just kind of like you're just not going to talk about it? What's your thoughts on, because it really hasn't come out much.
No, it hasn't. And that's the scariest part, because Danielle Smith and the UCP have lobbed out these ideas like provincial policing. And the problem is, then they go silent. And it leaves Albertans going, so what are they really going to do? In fact, the letter that was given to the Justice Minister when he became minister talked about working on to establish a provincial police force. So they've given that challenge out to their minister, but now they don't want to talk about it. So the scary part for all Albertans is simply this. If they win the election, what happens then? Do they come back and institute that? We can tell you this clearly, we're not going to do that. The RCMP are an important part of the fabric of this community and this province, and we will continue to endorse the the RCMP. We want to build a better future, and we think that we have the plan to do so.
Dollars and cents wise, increase the budget back to where it was, plus 50.
Mm-hmm.
What's the price tag, what for this increase in total? Do you guys have a number of how much this would cost?
You know, I'd probably have to get our staff to get back to you with a precise number, because I don't have it at my fingertips today. But we know that it's going to be a lot less than the $1.35 billion they're going to spend in transition costs. So I can tell you this, we will save money. It will cost us significantly less to add 150 police officers than transitioning an entire force in this province.
Do you guys look at Surrey and see what's going on there and kind of look and go and going, this is foreshadowing what could be? Like, they came up with their own, they were gonna transition back, and then they just said, you know what, we're gonna keep it because it's gonna cost too much.
Well,
Is that the fear going into this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great example. The largest detachment in the country is in Surrey. So here they sit. They looked at it. They were forced down that path to begin looking at a provincial police force. It was costing them an exorbitant amount of money, and they've now said, we're transitioning back, that the idea simply doesn't work. It would cost them far more important. We don't want to risk Albertans by going down that path. We saw what Red Deer found out. Just the study alone said $13.5 million a year additional just to set up their own police force. So what a waste of money that doesn't serve the needs of Albertans.
Perfect. So we'll go to the reporters on the Zoom. Again, it's raise hand function or *9. Seeing none, we'll do one more pass for questions in the room. Perfect. That wraps up for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.